Hey guys, it's Brad M73 here. We are playing Euro Truck Simulator 2. This should be episode, let's see, I think this will be episode 11. And I think we're in Salzburg right now, and we're going to do some, a couple missions. First, I kind of wanted to go over, in the last episode, we were running patch 1.3.1, and just kind of wanted to go over a couple of the things since I've got my notes in front of me. Just general stability improvements. They did officially license Iveco and Volvo. We knew Volvo. Let's see, ability to change the company name, logo, or preferred brand. Looks like they added a retarder. Now I don't know exactly what that is. It says manual or automatic. I don't know if that has to do with the throttle or braking or what. Let's see. Local currency support for each game in the country. Gearbox accessory selection. Again, not sure what that is. Apparently, they have new online radio stations, new physics, which I think I mentioned before, that accounts for the different trailers that you'll have in the game, and I can, it seems like I can already tell that there are some differences, in the weight. Let's see. Looks like there's some Renault premium upgrades, Renault Magnum side skirts, some tweaks to hired drivers. Oh, this is a big one. Hired drivers are more likely to find suitable cargo on their way back. And apparently they fixed some kind of a rehired driver fix. It says UK distances in GPS fixed. Fixed several memory leaks, 200 map changes and fixes, fixed the cabin blur during rain. That was one of my complaints. Let's see here. Several German roads thoroughly tweaked and prettified. Bump causing damage on German A3 is fixed. Power lines, columns in the middle of the road have been removed. I've noticed that on several occasions. They've put a gas station in Bremen. Apparently there wasn't one. General AI curves on some of the prefabs. That's another issue that we ran into. Increased perfect. Oh, that's just stability. And finally, they added a product key verification step. For whenever you upgrade your patch or reinstall the software. So, so those are the fixes there. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. That looks really nice, actually. There we go. Got a nice. Maybe I'll take a screenshot. There we go. Let's see here. We also got some comments, and one I'd kind of like to bring up. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. Capped Proton 1015 says, very nice video. Thank you very much. We'd like to see a tutorial on how to park the trailer and also picking one up, especially ones that are in tight spots. He's understanding the game, but he also isn't sure what his goal is. And, games like this are very difficult to really establish what a goal is. Well, it's a simulation, so I'm sure the primary goal of the the programmers are to simulate something from the real world, regardless of what it is. If it's driving a semi truck or driving a bus or farming and farm simulator. Flight and flight simulators. Flight simulators have been around for years and years. I grew up playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. I had like every new version on release day. They also helped me, especially as they started updating with more realistic airports and more realistic weather. I would actually use Microsoft Flight Simulator quite extensively in my flight training back when I did that in the 90s. And for those of you guys that don't know, I am a commercially rated pilot, single engine land and high performance endorsements, and I'm instrument rated. Haven't flown in a while. 9/11 kind of ruined that for a lot of people, and it's just gotten so expensive. I don't really do that too much anymore. But anyway, the goal is to replicate, something from the real world. And in this case, it's driving our semi truck. Well, as far as the goals in the game, you're kind of right. I mean, it doesn't have a point where, you get a big flashing thing on screen and an announcement saying that congratulations, you've won. That's obviously or that's going to be very off-putting, I think, for a lot of people. There are people that, want a defined goal in their game, and I can definitely understand and appreciate that. Um, but, typically in these type of simulations, um, the goal is more of a personal goal. I guess the best way I could really describe it is, you want to try to do a good job, and the goal is, satisfaction and knowing that, hey, I'm a good driver. Um, I got my cargo from point A to point B without any interruptions or damage or and on time, and things like that. There's also kind of I won't say a resource gathering, uh, you know, system in the game, but more of a company building game. So it's more of an economic model, in that, you start off as being a hired driver, and then once you've earned, a certain amount of money, or actually there's nothing to stop you from going to the bank right off the bat in the game and borrowing money. But you have the goal of buying your own truck, upgrading your truck, so that it pulls heavier cargo, is more maneuverable, things like that. But also hiring other drivers and building a company, and really I guess kind of like a transportation, or possibly cargo delivery empire, a la companies like UPS or FedEx, or DHL, and things like that. So, it is difficult to establish goals, and I think in the short term you kind of need to look at what you want to do in the game. Right now, um, my current goal is to hire another driver, so that I can get money faster, buy more trucks, make my truck better. And in order to do that, I have to upgrade my garage. So my immediate goal is to earn 180,000 euros and upgrade my garage so that then I can purchase another truck and hire drivers. So those are kind of the things that you want to keep in mind as you're playing Euro Truck Simulator, and some of the goals that you kind of want to establish for yourself. Another one of my goals is to help you guys out. To have you come into the game. Maybe you can't get it yet, maybe you can't afford it, or maybe it's just not available, in the areas where you live, and you just kind of want to watch, sit by and watch, and ride along with this. And so my goal is to try to, make it interesting, because, driving is not the most exciting endeavor on the planet. And okay, there we go. So yeah, that's kind of, I hope that answers your questions. Um, and when we go in to pick up our next cargo, we will, I'll try to give you a little tutorial on how to back that up. So let's see, we're gonna turn our beeper off because we'll never be able to sleep with that on, and we're gonna turn our engine off, and we're gonna take a nap. All right, so we are awake the next morning, and let's go and see what jobs are available. And I do, like I said, I do believe we are in Salzburg. Yes, we are. Let's see, Salzburg to Innsbruck. Oh, that'll be a nice drive. Another Salzburg to Innsbruck. Let's see, Salzburg to Linz. Okay, it's up that way. Salzburg to Salzburg. Oh, that's going way out there. I don't think I want to do either of those. Salzburg to Salzburg. Potatoes, Salzburg to Salzburg. Like some of these are just really super short. Euro goodies to Transinet. I tell you what, let's they're really high paying. So let's actually do a couple of these really short ones. All right. Well, we'll just turn our wipers off. Okay. All right. So we've got to come up here, put our turn signal on, make a left, and then we're going to make an immediate right. All right. I'm going to go out on a limb here because again, I think that yellow thing is the, we'll find out here in just a second. Yeah, I think you can actually now make a right turn. I think that might have been one of the fixes that they did. All right, so here is our destination. All right, we'll turn our turn signal off. We're going to hit enter. Whoops, yeah, enter. I think it was this one. So we're going to take this job, and it's going to be this very front trailer here. Now, in order to line up your trailer, obviously you're going to have to back in, from, if we're looking at this scene right here, from the right side to the left, backing into the trailer. And the first thing we'll have to do is actually align our truck. Now, it is somewhat difficult. I kind of like to do it from the cab because, I've pulled trailers, now not semi-trailers, but other types of trailers. And so I kind of know how to do it, but you're going to kind of come in at an angle, and then right now I'm turning the wheel to the right. So even though we're looking backwards, you kind of have to go in the opposite direction that you want. So now let's switch to external view. We can see our wheel is still turned to the right, so we want to straighten that out a little bit. Now it gets kind of tricky because all of your directions are reversed. So just for an example, let me pull forward. Say we've got an angle here. Let me make it a little bit more drastic. Whoa. Now right here we've got a lot of room, but in some of the deliveries that we'll be doing in the future, we don't have a lot of room. But again, all of your directions are going to be reversed. So if you want to go left, you actually have to turn the wheel to the right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to back up, and I'm just going to be going in a straight line. Well, let's see, the trailer's to my left. Your brain naturally thinks, oh, well, I better turn my wheel to the left, which I'm actually hitting the D key on my keyboard, which would be, or I'm sorry, I'm saying left, I mean right. The trailer is off to our right there, and what I'm going to be doing, what my brain thinks I want to do is turn the wheel to the right. Well, if we do that, and I'm actually turning the wheel to the right, and we back up, say, oh no, I'm going off to the left. So I'm making a mistake there. So let's pull forward and kind of get our initial orientation. So now that we're looking backwards like this, we are going to have to, everything's reversed. So I have to turn the wheel to the left. And as you can see, if we look at from the back, the wheels are turned towards the left, at like a left-hand turn. And now I'm going to back up really slowly, and I'm not going to hold the key down. Okay, so when I'm roughly lined up, I'm going to straighten the wheel out, and then I'm just going to gently back up. And you don't have to be perfect, but there we go. We've got our, whoops, what's going on here? Hello. So, hold on just a second, guys. I'm having some graphics issues. Okay, and now we're back. Sorry about that. I'm not really sure what transpired there. Let's get back into the game. Yeah, that was really bizarre. I don't know if maybe that's a new issue that needs to be patched, or it's just my computer getting old. I don't know. All right, so we'll get loaded back in here, and hopefully we'll get hooked up to the trailer here in just a second. All right. All right, all the graphics look good, and yeah, there's our trailer. All right, so as you saw, we just kind of back it in, and like I said, you don't have to be perfect. You just want to get it back until you get the attach the trailer display there. All right, so from inside the cabin, it's a little bit different, and so you're still looking backwards, and again, your steering is going to be reversed. So I'm not perfectly aligned with the trailer, but I want to be. So I'm going to hit the S key. I'm going to hold it down for about a quarter of a second. I'm going to push to the right, steer to the right. And I'm going to steer back to the left. Or actually, I'm steering to the right though. And there we go. And we just get it straightened out. And there we are. And then we hit the T key to pick up our trailer. And we're ready to go. So it's really it's not too difficult to get that down once you've tried it a few times, and it is time consuming. Don't get frustrated. I mean, do spend some time trying to go slow. That's the biggest thing. Don't try to rush it. Go really slow. I mean, in the real world, you're going to do hours and hours and hours of training of this. You don't have anybody watching you. I'm here making the mistakes for you guys. Um, and so yeah, I mean, ooh, there's the castle there. I've been there on a couple occasions. Um, yeah, this is Salzburg. So yeah, don't get nervous, when you're backing in, and you should be all right. Get my other mirror up there. Whoops, what the heck just happened? Oh, I turned the engine off. Stop turning the engine off. See, even I make mistakes. And here's the river going over Salzburg. Mozart's birthplace should be off in that direction somewhere. Whoa. I think I might have mentioned that previously in one of the other um, videos. Just gonna take another screenshot there. So yeah, I hope I've answered your questions there, and then we will discuss parking your trailer uh, here in just a second as well. So let's see, let me get my GPS back on. Now for parking your trailer, there's a few, like I think it's the Tesseri company here in the game, and some of their, actually I don't know if it's some or all of their locations go through a really narrow corridor to get in and out of their pickup spots. Those are some of the more challenging, pickups and drop-offs, for sure. Especially if you've got a really big piece of cargo, like a tractor or a front loader or an excavator or something like that. So you really have to go slow, and don't worry about ticking off all these other guys and these cars. Um, take your turns wide. It is difficult to judge. I mean, it's not, we're not in the real world here. Need to get my, I'm gonna get my mirror set up here. And Daggone it, I keep hitting the E key and shutting my engine off in the middle of the road. Sorry, you guys behind me. All right. So here, we've got our parking space where we're supposed to load the trailer in. We got a lot of room here to work with. And what I like to do is I like to take a big wide circle, and I'll show you what I like to do here. And you can go left or right with whatever you're comfortable with. I'll make a big, nice wide turn, right turn here. And I like to get, up as close to the parking space as possible in order to preserve as much room as possible. Now, I'm going to start my final turn out, and I'm going to go out towards the entrance there. But I want to get up at the parking space because I want the apex of the turn to begin at where your cab is going to be. You're not always going to have this option, but this is kind of a good practice to get into, and it might help you when you get into really tight situations. So I'm going to cut the wheel all the way to the right because I want the end of the trailer to end up roughly where my cab is right now. So we're gonna pull forward, and the back end is going to follow us a little bit, and that's fine. But what I want to do is straighten it out, and you will be at a little bit of an angle. And as you can see, now the trailer is not in a direct line from the parking space, but the rear of the trailer is pointing to where the front left corner of the cab would be. So now we're in a pretty good position to start to back up. Now, again, this is where it even gets more tricky because it's the opposite of connecting up a trailer. If I want the back half of my, the back end of my trailer to go in the direction that I want it to go, which is in this point is right, then I'm going to have to turn right. So as we back up, I'm going to turn the wheel to the right a little bit, and that is going to push the trailer, the back end of the trailer to the right. But you got to be careful. You don't want to overdo it, and you want it to be a really long, slow, gradual turn, or in some cases, now see, I need to go back to the left. Actually, need to go back to the right now to get it, just perfect. And there we are. All right, so we're pretty much in the green, and now we can hit T to disconnect, and that's really all there is to it. So we didn't get much experience for that, but we got a little touch of it. All right, so now let's take another mission that's going to take us a little bit further. Let's see, Salzburg. Let's see, Salzburg to Innsbruck, Salzburg to Linz. Ooh, this is a nice one. Maybe just 8,000. However, Salzburg to Innsbruck might be a little bit more interesting of a drive. So let's do that one. And all right, so let's jump back in the cab. Sorry, I'm pulling out in front of you. Brad M73, the safest truck driver on the planet. Oh no, and I made a wrong turn. Alright, well, I can at least turn around right here. I was not paying attention, guys. Oh well. Whoa. Well, the truck definitely seems to stop a little bit more quickly. I want to pull cars. What the heck? Is he letting me go or what? What are you doing, guys? You're stopping, and I'm like, is he letting me go or not? Okay. All right, so let's see here. What are we picking up, actually? Currently have no no delivery job. What? Okay, that's where I thought I was going. Glad I wasn't going insane. Not really sure what the speed is through here, but I'm gonna go about 55 kilometers an hour. That should keep me pretty safe. And we're coming up on Sunny Acres or whatever this place is called. And we'll make a right up here. This area looks a little, well, the Harvard Acres. Why do I keep saying Harvard Acres? E Acres, that's it. Okay, so Salzburg to Innsbruck. And it's going to be the big trailer over there. All right, so again, inside the cab, I'm going to be making a nice big circle. Actually, a really big circle because I want to get more lined up with the trailer back there. All right, so I'm looking back. So I want to go to the right, so I need to turn left. And now I'm starting to straighten out my wheels. So now I went too far, so I need to come back to the right or left by turning right. And now it's really tricky. Man, those farm animals are going nuts. Alright, there we go. Man, those farm animals are loud. Alright, so we got our trailer. I think, what are we taking? Milk? Apples. Okay. Alright, so we're on the road. 3 hours and 51 minutes, 238 kilometers. Well, thank you. All right, we are on our way to Innsbruck. And there's the mountains down to the south, as you would expect. This is very beautiful country down here, by the way. Salzburg and surrounding areas, through southern Germany and Austria are some of the most beautiful places I've ever traveled to in my life. So if you ever get a chance to go there, don't hesitate to go because it's absolutely beautiful there. And let's see, I've come, whoops, not what I was wanting to do at all. Trying to hit my cruise control. I've only driven through this way a few times, so I'm gonna have to get a bit further down here to really figure out whether or not it seems like anything has changed. For some reason, it does look a little different to me, but I might just be imagining things. And off to the right there is a big rock quarry. So a lot of times you'll get called to do deliveries for explosives once you get your explosives permit. Oh, this is pretty through here. And this is, this is about the scenery that you would expect. Now, I don't know if this is accurate to, the real world, but this is the kind of the scenery that I would expect if I were driving through, Germany or, in Austria. Very beautiful country through here. Whoa. It's like I want to slow down to check out the scenery. That's really pretty. Good job, SES Software. Simulation games like this always make me want to, turn off these little side roads and go exploring. Especially, later in the game when you got tons of money, more money than you know what to do with. It's always nice to, veer off to, on a new route or, somewhere that you wouldn't usually go. Um, and it's kind of one of the rewarding things. It's amazing that people build these worlds and spend the time to do so. Um, it's really cool that they do and allow people to explore virtual places that they wouldn't normally have the chance to get out and see. And while I can't say that the graphics are always, or not graphics, but the scenery is exactly what you'll see. I do believe it's in the spirit of what you would experience, and when a simulator hits that mark, that's always a good sign of a successful product and a fun experience. And that's kind of one of the things that's appealed to me, especially with this simulator, is that the experience of it. It does have kind of a its own sense of, or I guess its own reward factor. I guess that's kind of what I'm looking for. When you get from point A to point B, and your job, you finish the job and you're successful. It's a rewarding experience, even though it's virtual. So let's see. I want to take this time again to thank you guys for watching. Um, I've just started doing these videos just a few weeks ago, and hope to grow my viewer and subscriber base, and also delve not only in simulations but other games as well. Um, I know Aliens Colonial Marines is coming out, and so I am going to be delving into that game as well. So expect to see that coming up fairly soon. It looks like it's really going to be good. I did watch some of the gameplay footage from the beginning of the game, and a few light spoilers in there, but looks like it's going to be really awesome. And it kind of picks up from where Aliens left off. And if you have not seen the movie Aliens, go see it. You need to, uh, if you're a movie buff like me, I love watching movies, especially science fiction, any kind of future-y stuff. I typically like, as long as it's, semi-positive. And I know Alien the Alien movies aren't necessarily the most positive portrayals of what life is going to be like in the, whatever, the 23rd century or 24th century or whatever the time frame is supposed to take place in. But I just like all the futuristic spaceship, futury shows and movies. Avatar, I thought that was really good, for what it was. But the Aliens films, I grew up watching those like over and over and over again. And actually, I haven't actually sat down and watched Aliens in years. I don't even think I own it on DVD or Blu-ray. I still have it on VHS, which is probably why I haven't gotten it out in a gazillion years. Um, I can't stand watching Alien 3. It was I mean, that was probably one of the most disappointing movies. It was definitely a scary movie, but I think the plot was just absolutely atrocious. I don't know what the hell Fox was thinking when they wrote Alien 3, but I was so pissed off when I saw that movie, and what can you say? And then Alien 4 does not exist in this dojo. I cannot stand that movie either. I saw it once and I saw it. I thought it was good. I thought it was bearable up to the whole like the end. That baby alien. I don't even know what the hell it was supposed to be. Now, see, that kind of looks like Neuschwanstein, but it's not. It's not in the correct geographical location, and it doesn't look like it either. But anyway, I just wanted to point that castle out. Yeah, the whole end of Alien 4 or Alien Resurrection or whatever the hell it was called was just, oh God, it was just the most awful, ridiculous looking alien I think I've ever seen. And the fact that it gets butt sucked out of a window that's about a foot square just blew my mind, and not in a good way. I was, oh my God. Anyway, Aliens Colonial Marines comes out, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, and so I'll be picking that up, to play, and I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, please, if you're having a good time, sitting along, checking out the scenery with me, please like my videos. Liking my videos definitely helps me get more exposure. Um, definitely subscribe, to keep on top of what I'm doing. What did I do? Oh, my loan installment. Okay, so we just lost $2,877. All right, that was expected. Let's see, we're doing good on gas. We're doing good on sleep. We got 46 kilometers to go, and we will have ended a successful episode, with a little bit more detailed explanation on how to back your trailers in, and as soon as I can find a good spot to do the I think it's the Tesseri company missions. That's probably like the tightest spot that you'll get into, game wise. Should I make a right here or keep going? I guess I'll keep going straight. That's probably like I think it's Tesseri. We'll look and we'll see. But anyways, those missions are always in a really really tight spot. So and you can get some big loads. I know when I was playing in just like regular mode, I've got another profile set up that I was kind of using to learn the game. I got like I think it was an excavator. So it was like one of those big, gigantic yellow excavation machines with a big arm sticking off the front. And with the Tesseri companies, I'm going to say Tesseri. I might be wrong, but I think that's what it is. But anyways, with that company, um, you have kind of like a little gate. It's like an archway that you have to drive your truck through. And I would say it's probably only gives you about, just a couple of feet of clearance on either side of the truck. So, and okay, I'm gonna say feet because I'm not European, but maybe 0.6 meters to 1 meter of clearance on either side of the truck. It's about as wide as these roads are, and it's right off the street. You don't have a very big turning radius, and getting out isn't so bad, but getting in, especially if you're making a right turn where you don't have as much room to maneuver, can definitely definitely be a challenge. So hopefully we will get. Maybe it's Tremere. Maybe that's it. Actually, here's a Tremere location here. So let's drive past it. Yeah, I see a Tremere there, and I'm pretty sure that's the same business. Let's see. Actually, if we get another good job, maybe I'll just continue on. Yeah, that's gonna be. Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see if we can get once we drop this sucker off, we're gonna see if we can get a job from Tremere. Okay, so we're gonna have to park here. So let's zoom out. All right, so we got to get in between these other trailers. So again, I'm gonna try to put the cab right here at the end of this parking spot, and I'm gonna cut it hard right. And once I get the front of my cab, I kind of look down the left side of my cab, which would be the right side of the cab from our current perspective. But once I get that kind of lined up with that front corner of the actual parking spot, the front left corner of the parking spot, I'm going to straighten out my cab. And that should allow my trailer to kind of line up. And as you can see, it hasn't. So what I'm going to have to do is I want the back of the trailer to move right. So I'm going to turn my wheel hard to the right. And again, when you have a trailer on, again, it's backwards of the last backwards, Yeah, it's confusing. I'll definitely admit to it being very, very confusing. So we're going to want to cut the wheel back to the left. Try to get this line. Okay, now we want to cut it hard left because we want to line it up. We have to go back to the right. Whoa! I don't really like the throttle changes with the keyboard. I mean, there's nothing I can really do about it. It is what it is. But I still don't like it. Alright, so I'm going to back up. And we're going to turn the wheel slightly to the right because we want to, or I'm sorry, to the left. Oh, I'm getting my rights in. I'm like directionally dyslexic today, guys, so I apologize. Alright, there we go. You want to go nice and smooth. Straighten it out. Alright, there we go. So, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a game. And will we get to level 8? Alright, sweet. Now, what we can do is... So you got just-in-time delivery. I'm going to go long distance on this one. Alright. So let's drive over to... Well, actually, I want to do a quick loop around Innsbruck here. Let's get back into the cab. I turn the signal on even though nobody's there to... I just want to do a quick loop around Innsbruck because there's a little question mark box there to the right. I think it's just a recruitment agency, but we'll see. Ooh, that's a pretty building over there. Yeah, I've never stayed in Innsbruck. I've driven through it in the past, and I think that's where they have... I think there's like a big ski jump or something around here from the Olympics years and years and years ago. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's right there. Right there in front of us. So, yeah, they, I think back, I don't know, back in the olden times, I couldn't tell you, but anyway, this big, huge ski jump was built for the Olympics, I think it was. Okay, we just discovered the recruitment agency, so we're going to continue around. get into the left-hand lane, and so we're ready to turn left into Tremere, and or Tremery, or however you say it. Oh, I'm gonna miss the green light. So if you're approaching the Tremere place from this direction, from this perspective, where you have to make a left turn into Tremere, you actually have you're at a much better angle to get the trailer in, because it's going to straighten out quite a bit before you make the final turn into Tremere. If you're approaching from the opposite direction, you've got a much narrower. See, you got to fit a huge trailer through this little tiny slot right here. So, and we're just, I mean, you can see there's maybe, yeah, there's maybe like a meter, if that, on either side of the, and there's also like a little speed bump kind of a thing there. So sometimes you'll get stuck on that. So yeah, you don't have a whole lot of room to work with. All right, so Tremere to Zurich, and Tremere to Munich. Let's go up to Munich. All right, so now you can really see we don't have a whole lot of room to work with. And actually, this is even worse because look at where our trailer is. So I'm gonna get up here close. Yeah, this is like the worst position that you can, and believe me, I've had a mission where I've had to park a trailer in that position while there was like another trailer to the right. So we're gonna get missions like that, and it's gonna suck. But don't let it really scare you. They're really not that bad. So we'll keep an eye in our right mirror there. Get our trailer or our cab lined up. We can see there. We're getting it lined up. And now we have to push to the right in order to go left. Straighten out there, and whoop. Okay. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the wheel all the way to the right, and I'm going to just pull forward ever so slightly. Okay? I'm going to kind of straighten it out, and now I'm going to turn my wheel all the way to the left. And we should see it's coming out just fine. We straighten it out just a little bit so we're clear of that other trailer. And we're good to go, guys. All right. So that's about as tight as it gets. So I'm glad I was able to show you that on this episode. Now comes the next point or part, I guess, of trying to get it through this little slot. And now we have to make a right turn. So pull out quite, as far as you can, and then cut it to the right. There we go. And we're clear. Oops, straighten out your wheel. And there we go. Come on, guy. The trick with the larger trailers, like I said, is just going slow. I mean, this isn't, Need for Speed. We're not, Lamborghinis and Ferraris and things like that. So you're just wanting to take your time. Is that a stop sign? Is the yellow triangle, or I'm sorry, a red triangle, is that stop, or is it just like a yield turn sign? I can't remember. All right, we're on our way, guys. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I was able to show that to you right off the bat. So the user who asked for a tutorial is got a pretty good episode to watch here. And I hope that he watches it. I hope it helps him, and I hope it helps you guys, anybody that watches it, perfect their trailer skills and we're heading through the back country. Now this might be the road that I took from uh, Fussen down, like the Fussen-Schwangau area down to Innsbruck. I'm not really sure, if this is like a real road in the game, but there is a road that kind of goes from that area, because you know Fussen and Schwangau is almost straight south of Munich, if I remember correctly, and then there's kind of a road like this. It's not really like like an autobahn or a highway or expressway or motorway or however you call your expressways, but there is a road that's very similar to this that cuts through the mountains. And I mean, I drove through there in the wintertime, and it was just absolutely breathtaking. Absolutely, amazing experience. Very, very beautiful country. And I think one of the next things I'm gonna do is upgrade my engine, because I think we only have the like a 500 or 550 horsepower engine, and I'm pretty sure I got the engine upgrade on when I hit level 6 or 7, and I never did it because I was kind of wanting to save up my money. So maybe I'm gonna do that, because coming up some of those hills is not so much fun. All right, so we're gonna hit the have well, a little bit of a straightaway, not much. But I mean, I have my foot on the gas right now, and I'm not going very fast. So you can definitely tell we must be, heading up into the mountain. See, this is kind of a cool view to drive from too. If you take all the mirrors off, I might have shown this to you guys already. Unfortunately, you can't turn your head left or right. Um, you know, Not a huge deal, but you're not going to be backing into your parking spaces with in this view. I think I'm going to take a screenshot. Thought I heard somebody getting ready to pass me there. Hey, some round bales. I need to get a round baler in Farming Simulator. This afternoon I got done harvesting some corn and making some silage, and I just did get my front loader and sold a bunch of the silage. So I've got like over $800,000 in Farming Simulator 2013. So I need to get. There's another car. I need to get a round baler, do some round baling. Not sure, if it's worth doing, but thought about doing that. That's what I need. I just passed one on the right. It's like a front loader, but it's got a special, like a big hooked arm kind of a thing that's specifically for for round baling. See, now this I would kind of expect to be the area around um, Fussen or Schwangau. Oh my God. I'm gonna get into the cab here before I kill something. Whoops. There we go. So it's kind of like we've come through the mountains, and now we're kind of in the Schwangau area. So I was looking, around the mountains, because the castle is like halfway up the mountain. Well, not really halfway, but it's very easy to see from quite a long distance. So kind of like that other castle was that we passed between Salzburg and Innsbruck. But that shouldn't be Schwangau, because it's definitely not in the right spot. Not even close. And this kind of well, This, oh my gosh. I saw that. Did you see that truck whip around that corner? Man, what was up with that? I'm just looking up the mountain here to see if I see any castles, which I don't. Did you see that bus whip around that corner at like Mach 2? I did. That was nutsos. That was crazy. What's with these like skid marks going all over the road here? What's all that about? Very strange. I don't know. Ooh, nice rape field over there. Well, rape fields, which are canola fields, are absolutely stunning to see in the real world. I mean, it's the amount of yellow that comes off of those things is just like nothing I've ever seen before or since, and they're really pretty. We don't have them here in the States, at least not that I'm aware of, or at least not anywhere close to where I'm from. Um, but they're really, really pretty. And I mean, from a distance, they're very solid yellow like that. So that's not an exaggeration there. They really pretty much look like the field up there. I'm half expecting a car to pass me because I'm going so slow. All right, so 64 kilometers to go. I love the scenery in this game. It's really nice. And hopefully after the patch, it'll even be more varied. I know, like up around Berlin, and I think I might have mentioned this before. I'm not sure if I did or not, but anyway, up around Berlin, it's generally pretty flat. I mean, there's no mountains up there. I think there's like one hill in or near Berlin. Oh, look at that field. There's like one field up there, or I'm sorry, one hill. I think they had a big radar station up there back during the Cold War. Um, but anyway, that's kind of like the only major, you know, landmark. I mean, as far as like hills and mountains and things like that are concerned. Um, around Berlin, and in the game, at least pre-patch, it was you know fairly rolling terrain, which I don't remember it being. So we'll eventually make our way up there, and we'll see. But this area right here definitely has more of a Fuschen, Schwangau, southern Munich feel to it, at least to me, from what I can remember of being there. Let's see, 32 kilometers to go. We're almost there. Have to make a right here. We are Ausfarting. And can't even tell you how many jokes I've made about that. Ausfart, Asphalt, you know how that goes. So yeah, every time you have to asphalt every time you get off the autobahn. So just so you guys know. Okay, 50 kilometers an hour is the speed limit. Turn my Now that would be awesome if we had another delivery in Tremere, but I'm pretty sure we're not delivering to a Tremere company. Oh no. Sorry, Bri. Kind of cut you off there, and I'm going to do it again. And we're coming back into Munich. München. We've got our different views here. And what is this place? WGCC. Looks like we'll be making a left into here. And this park job will be pretty straightforward, just like the last one. Just make a nice wide turn. Here we've got a couple poles in the way, but we got plenty of room that way to work with. So I'm just gonna, make a right turn. Line my truck up with that front left corner, and we're just gonna straighten out. Sometimes if you overturn, that seems to help. But yeah, we're just gonna straighten out our trailer here. Okay, and as we back up, I'm gonna move it to the right, slightly straighten out my tire. Now I'm gonna go to the left and back to the right. And we should be good enough. Come on. Oh no, we must be too far to the... Whoops. Gosh, it's a lot harder to move. Alright, here we go. They do seem to have tightened up the parking tolerances a little bit, so it actually does seem to be a little bit, you have to at least have the trailer in a little bit more tightly. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we're back in Munich. On our way to level 8. So, let's see, how much money do we have? 86,000. Alright, let's see, what do we have bank loan wise? Left to repay. Oh, now they've actually added, you can just loan 50,000. Well, I don't know. Previously I only remember being able to loan like 100,000 or 400,000, but now it looks like there's 10,000 and 45 or 50,000. I'm sorry. So that's kind of cool. So again, I don't know if that's new or what happened. Let's see. Let's go to our garage. So right here, we need to upgrade to a small garage first, and then you upgrade to a big garage. So it actually costs more to upgrade to a small one than it does a big one. You would think that they would have that swapped around, but yeah, I don't know what the heck they're thinking there. We don't need to see the truck dealers. Select the garage. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, so see, we need to unlock. I think when we go to a small garage, it unlocks 2 more slots. I don't know what the heck these are, though. I don't think these are more garage slots. Our garage is in Frankfurt. Yeah, So we don't have enough money for that yet. Ooh, what's this? Oh, cool. I don't remember that being on here too. That might have been, but I don't remember it. So now it looks like we can instantly travel to other garages. So that's cool. That's a cool feature. All right, guys. Well, we had a good episode there. We got our comment addressed. Did some tutorial work there, and we're going to continue doing that in the future. Guys, this is Euro Truck Simulator 2. I am Brad M73. Please, 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 I cannot ask you enough. Please thumb up my videos. Please like my videos. Please subscribe. And it's gonna, just keep me wanting to make more videos for you guys. So again, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next episode. I'm out for now.